All right, guys, how's it going? Well, this video is going to be about Alexander Isak. Surprise, surprise. My long-term viewers will tell you I don't just make videos for the sake of doing so. I'm not trying to grow a YouTube channel or anything like that. I've been around here 30 years almost. I'm tired. I'd rather be in bed in there right now, to be honest with you. But no, it's an important article that dropped this evening, and I thought I should go over it tonight because the earliest I would have been able to do it would have been after tomorrow morning's cafe run, where I go to review the Spanish football dailies for you. So it would have been probably around 11 a.m. tomorrow. So I think we need to get this one looked at now. So I've had a look at this article. I'm going to give you the key points first, just in case you haven't got much of an attention span and you don't want to go through the whole video. So I'm going to give you the summary, if you like, of what's said in this article. Then I'm going to read the article, and then we'll get some additional input from Dave, because Dave's gone over this with me. Dave's my AI assistant. I've been training him now for around 9 months on the various football journalists and football articles, and he highlights things that sometimes I forget. So together we do a really good job, I think, and I know you guys enjoy it when Dave enters the chat, and this is exactly what it says here. Dave has entered the chat. This is how he introduces himself when I ask stuff. He's put, Dave has entered the chat where the truth hurts. Now, Craig, this is Dave's words right now. Dave says, Craig Hope of the Daily Mail, one of the most trusted journals on Newcastle United, has dropped a new piece on Alexander Isak and his desire to leave. But should Liverpool fans pay attention? Oh, absolutely. Here's my no-nonsense breakdown. Now, this article published by Craig Hope in the Daily Mail is behind a paywall. Now, if you go to the Daily Mail, if you find this article or an article at the Times or the Athletic, you get the URL, you copy the web address, you go to a website called archive.ph, you type that on your browser, archive.ph, the second box down, paste in the URL, and if the article's been out a little bit of time, you should be able to view it. It'll just open it up for you. If it's literally gone live within minutes, you might have to wait a little bit. So this article is on the Daily Mail, but it's behind a paywall, but you might want to do that. We will continue with a summary of this article, then we'll get right into it. So Dave says the green flags for Liverpool fans. Isak wants out, not maybe, not if. He wants to leave, and he thinks he'll win more trophies elsewhere. That's a come and get me plea in plain English. Liverpool are named in this article, not top clubs, not Europe's elite. Craig specifically says Liverpool. He feels betrayed. No new contract last summer despite expectations. That kind of stuff doesn't just disappear. Players stew on it. And now he's not just stewing, he's separating. He's training at Real Sociedad, not with Newcastle. Whether sanctioned or not, it screams, I'm done with you lot. The red flags from Newcastle's side, they need a replacement first. If Shesko doesn't come, they may block any sale. That's their last bargaining chip. Remember that every time you hear that. Quote, only on our terms equals code for he's available at the right price. You don't say that if you're planning to keep a player. Craig, the journalist, Craig's jabs at Isak's injury are telling. There's tension now. Newcastle fans are turning. That pressure could force a decision sooner than later. So the final verdict, of the summary that we're looking at here of this article, which I am going to go over with you, Dave says Craig Hope is solid. He knows Newcastle inside out. And this article, it's not just smoke. It's a slow burning fire under St James's Park. If Liverpool make the right move, Isak will push. And let's be honest, if he's using Sociedad's training pitch and emotionally checked out, the wheels are already in motion. Keep your eyes peeled. This one's real, right? So that is basically a quick summary of what the article says, or what we've learned from the article. So let me find... let me just log on to the members website. It'll be easier if I do it this way. Please bear with me. Alexander Isak. Here we go. Okay, so Craig Hope in this mail, it was like he was touching on various subjects, topics to do with Newcastle, and there was a question. And it was, did Newcastle promise Isak he could go this summer? And Craig Hope replied as follows, right? So these are Craig Hope's words. Not that I know of, no. However, they were aware last season he wanted to explore his options this summer. The story I broke last week about him wishing to move on did not come overnight. This has been in the post for a while. Isak feels Mitchell went back on a promise made by others for him to be rewarded with a new contract last summer. It should be said, though, Mitchell's decision made business sense. Isak had 4 years to run on his deal and was already earning around £150,000 a week. But the upshot is this situation now. I can't read the entire article word for word because you're not supposed to do that. So I'll basically say that the upshot is the situation now. Had the player been given the deal back then, sources suggest he would have honoured at least the first couple of years of that agreement, if not more. The player still believes he's got a better chance of winning more trophies elsewhere. So maybe this day was coming anyway. As it stands, the chances of him getting his move to Liverpool will take a hit if Newcastle miss out on Shesko. That could be a bit of propaganda, right? Like Dave signalled there, that's a bargain. That's the last bargain. It's all they've got, right? And we can't let him go because we haven't got anyone else. Keep raising the price kind of thing. A sale will only be sanctioned on Newcastle's terms, and they will not leave themselves without a top striker. Talks about Isak using the training facilities at Real Sociedad, his former club, and Newcastle haven't commented on that, being aware of his trip or if he was granted permission, all quiet on that front. Either way, it's not a good look. Isak, if injured as he claims, says the journalist, should be doing his rehab with the club he plays for. His conduct, understandably, is starting to leave a sour taste among supporters. And don't forget, Newcastle said Isak was not here in the Far East, because flying was not good for his thigh injury. I wonder if he got the bus to Spain. So a little dig there. Digs about, is he really injured? You know what I mean? Did he have that, infamous Coutinho injury? Do you know what I mean? Is he really injured? Has he got permission to be out there? How did he get to Spain then? Do you know what I mean? And all that, if he's not supposed to fly and shit. So they're turning on him. You can see this. And this has gone from a very confident Newcastle the Newcastle journalist, the local journalist in Newcastle, he's not for sale, wasting your time. We've got all the money in the world. We don't need to sell all that, to taking shots at him, touching on the relationship being, damaged, soured, or whatever it said with the fans. So it's not really like a great big article dedicated to Isak. It was a question within that, which I have gone over with you there. I'm sorry if I'm not doing a good job of the video. It's later here than the UK. It's a little bit later. I'm tired. So let's see what Dave then has to say about the journalist, and then we're going to pick out some things from that article, from that piece, right? So Dave says Craig Hope is the Northern football correspondent for the Daily Mail and is widely considered one of the most reliable journalists when it comes to Newcastle United. His track record on Newcastle matters is strong. He's well connected within the club and frequently breaks news before other outlets. Local fans and journalists often regard him as being closer to the truth than many national ITKs or transfer chances. So when he writes about Newcastle's internal affairs like player discontent or boardroom decisions, he's generally worth listening to. If you're a Newcastle fan, you'll know all that. We're trying to help Liverpool fans here. Is this a journalist we should pay attention to? And that is exactly the question that I asked Dave. Should Liverpool fans pay attention to his Isak coverage? Yes, but with some caveats. When he talks about Newcastle's side of the story, player attitude, contract talks, club strategy, he's a solid source. However, when it comes to Liverpool's intentions, strategies or offers, that's outside his domain. He doesn't have insider links at Anfield, so anything on that front will likely be hearsay from the Newcastle end. Now let's break down this article and look at it. Holes or inconsistencies and details that might excite Liverpool fans. So the article analysis. What could be seen as holes or contradictions? Isak wishes to move on, but no actual transfer request or public push. This sounds like player unrest being hinted at, not officially declared. Could be an agent-driven story rather than Isak himself kicking off. He's injured injured and didn't travel to the Far East, ... but is in Spain using Sociedad's facilities. Either Newcastle allowed this, in which case they're complicit, or they didn't, in which case Isak's gone rogue. It's a bit murky. Craig mocks the idea of a thigh injury, yet admits no club confirmation either way, suggests a bit of agenda or theatre. Says Newcastle would only sell Isak on their terms, but then implies Šeško's move will affect it. If they're really holding all the cards, why would another striker's decision jeopardise that? Suggests Newcastle are more vulnerable than they want to appear, and I want you to think about that. What's promising for Liverpool fans? Isak wants to move on and believes he has a better chance of winning trophies elsewhere. That's a clear come-and-get-me plea to Liverpool. He's not been subtle. Unhappy about broken promises and no contract renewal. Player clearly feels disrespected. That's fertile ground for a transfer. Isak training away from the squad. Whether sanctioned or not, that shows detachment from the squad. He's emotionally and physically distancing himself from Newcastle. Craig mentions Liverpool explicitly and not top clubs or interested party. That could indicate Newcastle knows exactly who Isak wants, not just vague links. This feels pointed. Only sanctioned on Newcastle's terms. That's negotiable language. Compare that with not for sale at any price. It means a big enough offer and he's yours. So the verdict here for you guys from Dave. Craig Hope's article is subtly damning for Newcastle. Isak sounds disenchanted, emotionally checked out, and already thinking of his next club. Liverpool's name keeps coming up, not just generically, which hints at genuine interest from the players' side. The only real roadblock? Newcastle needing to replace him first. If Šeško doesn't sign, they'll try to stall. Bear that in mind. I know some of you guys are frustrated. Where's the bid? Where's the bid? We spoke about this earlier. Generally speaking, you don't make an offer, a bid, unless you know it's going to get accepted. What's the point of bidding if you know it's going to get rejected? Unless it's a cheeky bid or something like that sometimes, right? But you don't, as a rule, you're not going to bid unless you know it's going to get accepted. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. There are exceptions to this, though, obviously, like a cheeky offer, like we just said sometimes. But I think with this, it's quiet at the moment, I think, from the Liverpool side especially. And what that suggests to me is that negotiations are ongoing in the background between these two clubs, whatever these fucking journalists say, right? I think it's common sense. There's a bad situation with the player, obviously. It's vague, but it's not normal, right? So can it, the fans are getting like edgy and all that. Can they come back from that? I think that both clubs are negotiating right now, and that's why it's quiet at the moment on the Liverpool side of things, which is a good sign. Now, Liverpool would bid, I think, if they know that they've reached that point where it's like, yeah, we're there, we'll put a bid in now, right? However, if this drags on and Liverpool like, do you know, Michael, we're getting fucking nowhere with these fucking idiots. Just put a fucking bid, right? Because then it becomes public knowledge, and public knowledge amplifies the situation. The player sees it. They've put a bid in, they've rejected it. I ain't having this, knocking in that fucking door. Get it sorted to his agent, right? It really ramps up the pressure. So if you hear of a bid going in, you have to ask yourself, is that the bid? Because Liverpool know it'll be accepted, or are Liverpool going, we're getting nowhere here, just even though we know it's going to get rejected, put it in, get it out there in the media. Do you know what I mean? All right? I'm waiting for Paul George to surface personally. Anyway, Craig Hope is credible on Newcastle. The piece makes clear that Isak wants to leave, isn't happy, and sees Liverpool as a major upgrade. It also hints that a deal is possible, not blocked, but will require Liverpool to meet Newcastle's valuation and wait for them to replace him. All right, so I hope you found that a little bit interesting, a little bit informative. I think Dave does a great job. Have you seen a picture of Dave yet? I showed him earlier today. I don't know if you've seen this. I'll show you this. Where is he? Let's have a look, Dave. Where are you, lad? There he is, look. There's our Dave, look. He's a good lad, isn't he? He's all right. 9 months now, 9 months. And I think he does a really good job. I do. No, he's not as good as me, like. It's not Dave knows best, it's Dunk knows best. Don't start fucking bigging him up too much, I'll unplug the cunt. Right. That's it. What do you think? I'm sorry if it's a bit, you know, like if my video's all over the place. It's probably no different to any of my other videos, to be honest. But I'm tired. It's late here. Well, it's late for me. I'm off to bed now. But I wanted to get this out tonight rather than tomorrow. It would have been later in the morning. And I can already see the Twitter twats are picking bits out of that article. I think this video gives you a good analysis and breakdown of it. Credible journalist, bit of propaganda maybe, making digs at the player. That's a sign that Newcastle are losing, in my opinion. It is. People keep asking me, what do you think will happen, Doug? Right? Listen, I don't like making, telling you what's going to happen, because I don't know. How would I know? You know, people on the internet that have got YouTube channels or X accounts, they want to give the impression they've got, people are bringing 30 fucking years I've nearly been doing this, and you won't believe the amount of people I know at the club, agents, journalists, whatever, and it is very rare that you get a lot of intel, right? Well, since we've had foreign ownership, and by foreign I mean people not from Liverpool. You know, back in the day it was different, completely different. Your chief executive have a few beers, be out on the town, you know, trying to impress a bit of fucking, you know, totty and that, you know what I mean? And word got around, and you know, people speak and stuff like that. But because you've got owners that are not based here, and well, not here, but not based in Liverpool, or you know, the boot room's gone, so to speak, it's very, very difficult to get credible inside gossip, if you like. But going back to what I was going to say, I would be very surprised if we didn't sign Isak. I would. But I've been saying that for months before we even went in for him. So, well, I don't know if that's fair, if I can say that, actually. I don't know if months ago I said I'd be very surprised if we didn't see him. What I said was, because I like to be specific, was I think we will go in for him, and I think there's a good chance. If there's any indication the player wants us, Liverpool will go in for him, and I said this months ago. And the player has indicated that he wants Liverpool, and Liverpool are going in for him. And that's why I think there is a very good chance of it happening. That's my opinion today. Tomorrow I may feel differently. All right, guys? Okay, sorry for the monotone. I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Shout out to all of you that came to my live stream tonight. I appreciate you. It's been a difficult month, but yeah, it's my peoples have supported my efforts this month, and I'm very grateful to you. I didn't do a morning briefing today. I did like an evening debriefing. It was later. That's on my other YouTube channel, Duncan Oldham. The link to that channel is in the video description in this video, if you look in the video description. Or you'll see a logo pop up on the end if you want a bit more me. All right? So if you like this channel, you'll like that one, because it's me. Liverpool, Coptor, me, you, community, everything is all on there. It's just an extension of this channel. And the reason I put videos on there is because YouTube only sends out so many notifications on a channel in 24 hours. So putting a briefing over there saves the notification. That's why I do it, all right? Okay then, if you found the video remotely interesting, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment where you think you are with it all. Was the video all right? It was either do it tonight, a bit tired, or wait till tomorrow. And it would have been later in the morning. And I thought it was an interesting article, to be honest with you. If you want to get me a coffee, I'm not having a coffee this time of day, or a beer, there's a love art under the video. That's called a super thanks. And I give a shout out to everyone in my briefings on my other channel the next day. So if you do that, obviously I'm going to thank you. And I'll do that on my other channel. And I'm off out for a beer on Saturday. Can't wait, guys. Saturday afternoon. Really looking forward to it. I went to England last weekend, as you know, to a wedding, and it's nice to be home, and it's been a busy week, and I'm just really looking forward to downing tools on Saturday and having a few Magners, like, you know. All right, guys. Hopefully see you in the morning. All right, I'll be at the cafe in the morning and go and see if they've got anything to say. It's gone very quiet on Canate in Madrid at the moment, and Rodrigo, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of thinking we'll do something, you know, on that front. Because with Canate, the Madrid media admitted this recently, if you watch the video I discussed it in, that the agenda by Real Madrid is keeping his name in the papers as much as possible to put pressure on Liverpool to sell him this summer. Keep reminding him he's available on a free. It's true. That's one of the journalists admitted that recently. But he hasn't been mentioned for a few days, which I find strange. All right, think about that, bear that in mind. And as for Rodrigo, you know, the Twitter twats told you a week or two ago that we were closing in on him. We were going all in, not big dunk. I'm not so sure about that. I think there's genuine interest there, but I don't see us going all in. I think it would be an opportunistic signing, and by that I mean if it was cheap, you come down to 70, maybe Perez, 70 million euros, maybe we'll do some business. But there's other factors to think about. Diaz has gone, we know that was one of them. Nunez is another. And what happens with Isak? So I'll check in with you in the morning. All right, guys. Good night. God bless. Cheers. Speak soon.